to you live from our Auckland Park studios. This is Prime News on SABC 3. Let's take a look at our leading stories this evening.
The people who implement are not necessarily the politicians, but they establish, they direct.
First up, Police Minister Senzo Meyiwa, who has been on special leave, insists that the existence of the Political Killings Task Team did not meet the prescripts of the Public Finance Management Act.
For those reasons, the hearing today and tomorrow will be in camera.
Meanwhile, the Mahikeng Commission that is probing the same allegations of criminality, political interference and corruption in the criminal justice system will hold today and tomorrow's hearings in camera.
We've been presenting to structures of government, indicating our challenges and requesting the necessary resources.
And the budget cuts imposed on the South African National Defence Force have compromised its capacity to adequately secure the Bait Bridge border post and the border with Zimbabwe. We're bringing you closer to the stories that define the world that we live in. A very good evening to you and welcome to Prime News on SABC 3. My name is Beki Mutumomolete, your host for this evening. From local events to global headlines, we dive into the issues that matter most. And here they are. Police Minister Senzo Meyiwa, who has been on special leave since July, has defended his decision to disband the Political Killings Task Team. He insists that the existence of the task team did not meet the prescripts of the Public Finance Management Act, even though it continued to be funded from the National Fiscus. Meyiwa is testifying before the ad hoc committee that is investigating the allegations raised by the KZN Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
Embattled Police Minister Senzo Meyiwa was in the hot seat, taking an oath, promising to tell the truth. Meyiwa is accused by KZN Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, of disbanding the task team to allegedly protect politically connected attempted murder accused Vusimuzi Ket Matlala.
The task team is put into full operation. Now, who has the control and management of the task team? Is it the Interministerial Committee or is it the National Commissioner? Because this task team is now going to report to Mkhwanazi and Kumalo and ultimately the National Commissioner.
The people who implement are not necessarily the politicians, but they establish, they direct. They gave directives to say, this is how it should happen. And these ones operationalize it and they bring it into this, they manage it. In other words, it becomes managerial when it gets to implementation.
Meyiwa maintained that even if the budget for the task team was approved to operate until March 2026, the task team still needed a formal extension for its existence.
As we speak, the approvals had been given for this task team to stay in operation until next year.
You create the Political Killings Task Team for a particular objective, you assess it in 6 months. You then sign to extend it up to 2022. And you don't do it after 2022. But all you do, you approve funding for that. And from where I sit, you don't meet the prescripts of the PFMA. And therefore, if you're called by SCOP, if I'm called by SCOP to say, how do you justify what you were funding beyond 2022? We will not have an answer.
The ad hoc committee continues. Ulelani Philip, SABC News, Parliament.
Meanwhile, the Madlanga Commission probing the same allegations of criminality, political interference and corruption in the criminal justice system will hold the rest of its hearings this week in camera. Chief Evidence Leader Advocate Matthew Chaskelson, SC, explained that the witness needs to be in camera due to the subject matter the witness will present, which delves into the operations of the SAPS and ongoing criminal investigations.
Having heard what the Chief Evidence Leader has said, the Commission decides to sit in camera to hear the evidence of the next witness. And it does so for the reasons that have been given by the Chief Evidence Leader. The Commission notes the fact that the media respondents, News 24 and Daily Maverick, no longer oppose the application. I must stress, though, that the decision of the Commission is not necessarily influenced by the fact that there has now been agreement between the parties on this application. The decision is reached on the Commission's own assessment of what has been put before it in the application itself and also what has been submitted before the Commission this morning. So for those reasons, the hearing today and tomorrow will be in camera.
Now we move on to news just in. National Police has confirmed that there is a police presence at the business premises of Northwest businessman Brown Mokhotsi in Siwedeng outside Mahikeng. Provincial Police spokesperson Brigadier Adlenda Mate says that the visit is part of ongoing investigations that have been discussed before the Madlanga Commission as well as Parliament's ad hoc. Our reporter Thabiso Moss is currently at the scene. Let's take you there. Thabiso, tell us what is the latest?
Thank you very much. Good evening to you and our viewers at home. We understand that the raid has taken place just after 4 p.m. this afternoon. So that raid at this stage, the information that we have managed to gather here since we arrived after 6 p.m., we understand that there were some police officers who, were executed that operation just after 4 p.m. this afternoon. And what is happening at this stage, or after that, after Mahikeng police actually were not aware about that raid. That's what we understand at this stage. So Mahikeng police arrived here just after 5 p.m. To come here after hearing that there is a raid that is happening here at business premises of Brown Mokhotsi here in the Northwest. So what we understand, during that raid, cell phones of people who were found in this business premises were confiscated or taken by the police who carried out at this stage with regard to business premises.
We seem to be having some technical issues there. Apologies. That was our reporter Thabiso Moss, who's coming to us live from Mahikeng in the Northwest. We now move on to the following. In other news, former President Jacob Zuma's legal team has argued that the state's bad legal decision has led to the possibility of Zuma losing his Nkandla homestead or pension. The presidency and the state attorney are facing off with Zuma at the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria in a bid to recover millions of rands paid for Zuma's legal fees incurred in his personal capacity.
The presidency is seeking to recoup over 28 million rands in legal fees paid for former President Jacob Zuma by the state. The state attorney wants the former president to pay back all the monies paid to his legal representatives in respect to all legal costs incurred in his personal capacity. Advocate George Amukuma Mids says the state will not oppose the DA's application to also include interest.
Ultimately, we will not oppose the DA's claim that interest be paid. And obviously, had we embarked on the amendment process, this would simply have delayed the matter, and we dealt with it in the best way we thought possible.
The Democratic Alliance wants the state to attach Zuma's Nkandla homestead, failing which the state attorney must obtain a writ of execution or garnish order against the former president's pension benefit to recover the 28.9 million rands.
The principle that is set out in Section 2A is that in respect of, not only in respect of liquidated debt, but also in respect of unliquidated debt, which in the process of adjudication become liquidated and due and payable.
Former President Zuma's legal team has argued that a declaratory order wanting the former head of state would impoverish him and leave him in debt until death. Samkele Masego, SABC News, Pretoria.
Welcome back to Prime News on 3. We go back to our earlier story from the Northwest with the National Police have confirmed that there is a police presence at the business premises of the Northwest businessman Brown Mokhotsi in Soweto outside Mahikeng. Our reporter Tabiso Moss is still currently at the scene. We go back to him to find out more. Tabiso, are you there? Tabiso, what other items were seized from the property?
I'm here. Good evening. Good evening to you and our viewers at home. What we understand is that that raid was carried out just after 4 p.m. this afternoon. And what we understand is that cell phones of the people who were found in this business premises were confiscated by the police who were carrying out that particular raid. But another information that came to light is that the local police, I'm talking about police from here in Mahikeng, were not aware about that raid. So they came to this business premises after hearing that there was a raid that was carried out here by the police. We don't know which police unit is that at this stage. That's the information that we can share with you with regard to that. And then with regard to some of the residents that we have managed to speak to, many of them or some of them are in support of Brown Mokhotsi. They are saying that Brown Mokhotsi is a genuine, a person who's always assisting the community, a generous man. That's how they described him. That's the word that I was looking for. He was always assisting the community around this area. So they are not happy with regard to what really transpired here this afternoon with regard to the raid that was carried out here at his business premises.
All right. And do we know if Mokhotsi is home, and do we know how he has reacted?
We haven't seen him since we arrived here just after 6 p.m. This evening. So that's what we know at this stage. We haven't seen him, and we understand that some police officers also went to his another business premise. He's owning a pub. That's what we understand. Not far from this business premises that we are stationed at this place. We understand that here he rent out this business space to some small business owners around the area of Mahikeng who are stationed in his business premises. So that's what we know at this stage with regard to that. But as far as his whereabouts, we don't know where he is at this stage.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Tabiso. That was our reporter, Tabiso Moss, coming to us live from Mahikeng in the Northwest. We now move on to the following. The budget cuts imposed on the South African National Defence Force have compromised its capacity to adequately secure the Beitbridge border post and the border with Zimbabwe. This is according to the SANDF commanders who are responsible for deployment at this border post in Musina, Limpopo. They were presenting the state of operations at the permeable border to Parliament's Joint Standing Committee on Defence.
The Joint Committee's fact-finding visit ended with presentations by officials manning the border. There is a high rate of illegal border jumping and smuggling of illicit goods and hijacked vehicles along the border. The SANDF says continued cuts in its budget allocation negatively affects its ability to sufficiently guard Beitbridge and other borders.
We've been presenting to structures of government, indicating our challenges and requesting the necessary resources. But the defunding of the SANDF has been, for the past, I think, 15 years now, ongoing, and that does affect our work.
The committee will be recommending that additional funds are allocated to the SANDF in order to urgently dismantle criminal syndicates that operate at Beitbridge.
We've got to insist on implementation of the various recommendations, because the things that we have seen are actually worrisome. The ease with which people flow between the countries, how they are able to evade the established port of entry and use unofficial entry points which have been established, which have got syndicates operating on them.
Meanwhile, the Border Management Authority will be inspecting all vehicles leaving the country to prevent the movement of large quantities of medicine out of South Africa. Beman Baloi, SABC News, Musina.
Accused number 1 in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, Muzi Sibiya, claims that he only met the state's star witness, Constable Sizwe Zungu, in 2017. This is 3 years after the soccer star was killed. Zungu earlier testified in the High Court in Pretoria that he was with Sibiya and the 4 other accused at a party in Vosloorus on the day that Meyiwa was killed in 2014. Sibiya again denied ever being at the gathering.
So in a startling turn of events, Muzi Sibiya, accused number 1 in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, claims he only met the state's star witness, Constable Sizwe Zungu, 3 years after Meyiwa was killed.
I only came to learn of Zungu when Kwabeni introduced him that this is so and so, he was born by so and so. That was the only time that I came to know, not to learn of Mr. Zungu.
Sibiya fell short of terming Zungu's testimony as a facade, as he says the details of what he told this court are not true.
I never entered into Kwabeni's house with accused number 2, which is Mr. Ntanzi, and accused number 3, who is Mr. Ncube, and I never walked into Mr. Kwabeni's room being shocked or scared.
While the lead investigator contends that Kelly Khumalo was the trigger point and ordered the hit on Meyiwa in conjunction with them, Sibiya told the court he only got to know the name Kelly Khumalo on the 30th of May 2020 during his arrest.
I think I first heard of that in Tembisa, even though I am not 100% sure.
Sibiya continues in cross-examination. Crisalda Lewis, SABC News at the High Court in Pretoria.
Thank you for staying with us. Scores of mourners have welcomed the remains of the former Kenyan Prime Minister Raila Odinga at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Odinga had been receiving medical treatment in India, where he suffered a cardiac arrest in Kochi. The long-time Kenyan opposition leader was at the heart of the country's politics and attempted to run for presidency a number of times.
Is what we call the water cannon salute.
A solemn water cannon salute to honor the late Raila Odinga at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi. Military honors have been planned for the man who tried 5 times to be Kenya's president, but mourners surged into the runway.
I have declared a 7-day period of national mourning, during which the national flag shall fly at half-mast across the Republic of Kenya and in all our missions abroad. As a mark of respect, I have postponed all my public engagements for the coming days, and I ask all other public servants and leaders to do the same.
In Kisumu and Kibera, crowds marched through the streets. These areas were considered as Odinga's strongholds. People have expressed deep grief over the loss of a man seen as a father figure and Pan-Africanist.
In his passing, we have lost a patriot of uncommon courage, a Pan-Africanist, a unifier who sought peace and unity above power and self-gain.
Odinga will be laid to rest this coming Sunday at his Apoda farm in Bondo, Sia County, and Western Kenya, in accordance with his wish to be buried within 72 hours of his death. Kylie Khumalo, SABC News, Johannesburg.
And now here's the latest market update as at 8 o'clock this evening. In your sports update, the future of Banyana Banyana coach Desiree Ellis is seemingly secured. The South African Football Association's NEC has offered her a new 4-year deal. Ellis has been the permanent head coach of South Africa senior women's team since 2018. Banyana won the 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations under her guidance and advanced to round 16 at the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia. There were reports that Ellis had been working without a contract since July 2022 and wanted out. The NEC also recommended Molefi Ntseki for appointment as association's new technical director to succeed Walter Steenbok. And that's how we wrap up our broadcast this evening, and what a jam-packed evening this was. Thank you so much for tuning in. From myself, Becky, and the team, we wish you an incredible night ahead, and we sign off with a view into your weather update, which is coming up next.
Thank you very much and a very warm welcome to the weather desk. Time for us to look at those conditions over the country now. It is going to be a rainy day as we move into Limpopo and also that low field of Mpumalanga with those scattered showers and thunder showers for today, and also isolated over parts of Gauteng stretching into Mpumalanga and also KwaZulu-Natal. We're moving towards Durban and surrounding areas. It is also expecting some 60% chance of showers and thunder showers, but isolated over the Eastern Cape stretching towards Gqeberha all the way into George. A little bit of some strong winds as we move towards the coast over KwaZulu-Natal for tonight. We're expecting a wind speed of up to 55 kilometers per hour, can gust up to 65 kilometers per hour for tonight. For tomorrow, a little bit of clearing, but it's going to be a cloudy day over most of the country. Those morning fog patches as we move into that escarpment of Mpumalanga, Limpopo, stretching into KwaZulu-Natal and into that interior of the Eastern Cape. And also some rainy conditions over Limpopo, Mpumalanga, KwaZulu-Natal, stretching into that central parts of the country, and also some scattered showers and rain as we move towards that interior of the northwest for tomorrow. Very significant, those rainy conditions over the northwest for tomorrow. Looking at our conditions for today, looking at our warnings, it is a level 2 warning of severe thunderstorm as we move into Limpopo and Mpumalanga. And also as we move towards the coast, we talked about those strong winds as we move towards the coast over KwaZulu-Natal. We do have a level 2 warning of some damaging winds and waves over that coast, and also a level 1 warning of some damaging waves over that coastal areas over the Western Cape. So please, let's be careful, especially those who will be going towards the waters. Moving towards the northwest for tomorrow, we had that 60% chance of showers and rain, and also we have a level 2 warning of severe thunderstorm over that interior of the northwest for tomorrow. Possibilities of lightning and also large amount of small hail over those areas. Overnight temperatures, it is going to be a cold night over most of the country. 3 over Sunderland, Cape Town dropping down to 9. 13 will be your minimum as we move towards Upington. For tomorrow, hot conditions over Upington with a high of 35. It's going to be a warm day over Cape Town with a maximum of 27. Also moving towards Johannesburg, expecting a high of 25. Warm conditions over Limpopo with those rainy conditions for tomorrow, with Musina peaking at 25. That's all the weather I have for you. Stay tuned.